Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu, and welcome to another episode of This Stays Between Us. Thank you so much for being on this journey with me as I document pieces of my life in order to help you maybe look at yours in a different way. In this episode, I'm going to be talking about something that I never really expected myself to talk about, and that is love. What do I know about love? In my 21 years of existence, am I qualified enough to talk about this thing, this fleeting feeling that overwhelms us all? Go on, ask me. What do I know about love? Nothing really. Except I know that it is something that you can't quantify, and if you bury it away, it does not stay buried for long. It seeps into the quietest of things. Like when you turn your head towards the door to see if someone special will walk into the room. Like when you hear their name and feel something electric tug inside your bones. Did I just say electric? I just invented a new word, guys. Electric. Like when you notice the way this person laughs, so you store the joke you said in your memory so you can hear him laugh again in that same unbound, freeing way. Now, everything that I just said, it could all be nonsense. It could all be me just thinking in the poetic way that I always think. But I think I'm onto something here. I know that love can only be seen if you zoom out. If you take a step away from the scene unfolding before you and look at it as if you're an outsider, that's when you can see what love truly is. I remember when I was in year 13 and I was preparing for the Oxford interview. My mother was my strength and my beacon. Every evening she sent me up to my room to revise for the interview, and I'd get so stressed out that I forgot to eat. So she would make food for me, sit me at the dining table, and watch as I ate, just to ensure that I was feeding myself. That's the kind of mother she was, and always has been. If you ask my younger self, she'd say she was revising for the Oxford interview because her parents said so. But if you ask me now, I will admit that I, like all Bengali children, wanted to make my parents proud. I wanted my mother to have something that would make her smile so bright that she'd forget the hardships she faced in raising me and realize it was all worth it in the end. And I wanted it so badly that after Fajr I'd start revising too. At break, I'd be on the school computers searching up common interview questions and writing down answers. And by the month of the interview, I had filled an entire notebook with topics that could come up. I had revised the textbook inside and out, and I knew the content from top to bottom. Like, my hands were aching from how much I wrote, because I wrote down all the possible things that could be in the interview. But nothing I had done could prepare me for what was to come. The interviews, if you don't know what an Oxford interview is like, it was brutal. I remember I had 2 interviews, and alhamdulillah, those first 2 interviews went so well. Even though they were brutal and hard, alhamdulillah, I was able to answer the questions and say what I need to say, and the interviewers looked impressed with me. And I thought, I had it. I have this in my hands. But when it came to the last interview, I realized I had lost it. They gave me a question that I could not answer. And just when I was trying to formulate one, the internet went, the audio cut out, so these professors hadn't heard what I wanted to say. I asked them if it would affect my university interview, and they said, no, everything's going to be fine, and ended the call. And that was when I knew I had failed. I had failed the last interview. How do I describe it? This feeling of failing. It was like a ball, a huge inflatable ball rolling inside me. On the outside, I looked fine, perhaps a little tired, but inside I was crumbling. Shame had made a home out of my body. Home time was at 3:05, But I was loitering in the school canteen, just like sitting there moping around, because I felt like I can't go home. So I ended up leaving way past 4:30. I thought of all the times I had gone home with a bad grade, but this time I didn't feel as if I could go home. How would I face my mother, who saw dreams for me, dreams far bigger than I could imagine, dreams that I had failed to catch? So I did the most natural thing. When I got home, I hid inside my room, and my mother followed me up the stairs and asked, "Why did you come home late? School ended ages ago. Why were you late?" I didn't answer. Then she asked, Have you eaten? Have you eaten food?" I still didn't answer. Then she asked the final question that broke me. How did the interview go? 5 words that felt like 5 sharp edges of a knife cutting through me. How did the interview go? I waited for her to shout at me, to ask me why I was such a failure, to look at me as though I was a disappointment. But she didn't do any of those things. Instead, she opened her arms out and I fell inside her, tears spilling out of my eyes, soaking into her shoulder. And as I look back at this moment, I realize she did love me after all. She always had, in her own quiet, fierce way. You might say that in my 21 years of existence, I know nothing about love. And maybe you're right, because what do I know about love really? I am born into the generation that believes love is a YA novel, that believes love is Draco and Hermione sneaking glances at each other across the classroom, but never quite admitting their fascination towards each other. That love is when Mr. Darcy finally admits that he cannot forget Elizabeth. He has been struggling against his feelings and he can no longer bear it. He must tell her how ardently he admires and loves her, ever since he saw her in the ballroom but thought nothing of her. These feelings that have built up over time that now require release. And you know what? Perhaps love is all of those things. And more. And more. And always more.